This is a call to order for the regular meeting of the Bassett Unified School District, June 28th, 2022 at 5:30 PM. Can we have roll call? Present.
Present. Here.
Here.
Can I ask Dr. Alvarez to lead the flag salute? Oh, excuse me. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda for the regular board meeting of June 28th, 2022? Ms. Flores first and no. Seconded by Ms. Rivera. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous, it passes. And can I ask Dr. Alvarez to please lead the flag salute?
Please stand, place the flag. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
Thank you, Dr. Alvarez. This is public comments related to the closed session items. This is the appropriate point in the agenda for those present to speak with regard to any closed session item on the agenda. Only topics specific to the actual closed session item will be heard at this time. Topics that do not address closed session items will be heard during the open session comments. Total time allotted to public input on closed session items will be limited to 20 minutes. Do we have any speakers? We have no speakers for closed session, so we will adjourn to closed session at 5:32. 28th, 2022 board meeting has reconvened after closed session. Board Clerk, would you please read what action was taken?
Gretchen Carrera as Director of Special Education, pending employment processing and clearances, on a motion by Dolores Rivera and a second by Patrice Stanzioni. All in favor, with 2 members absent. Motion was passed. Congratulations, Ms. Carrera.
We're not on. Ms. Flores, would you? Oh, we're not on. Need to re-record it.
Am I close?
Nope.
Am I close?
Redo it again?
Do it louder.
We need you to be recorded.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
There.
Ms. Flores, would you please read that again so we can have it recorded?
On a motion by Dolores Rivera and a second by Patrice Stanzioni, the board, we appoint Gretchen Carrera as Special Director, as Director of Special Education, pending employment processing and clearances, with 3 votes in favor, Board Member Stanzioni, Board Member Rivera, Board Member Flores. 2 board members were absent. Motion passes.
We welcome Ms. Carrera to our family. All other points in closed session were for discussion only. Staff presentations and information, Dr. Kennard.
Testing, testing. Can you hear me now? We're good? Okay, there we go. Okay, good evening, Board Vice President, Ms. Stanzioni, board members, superintendent, and the Bassett community. I will be presenting tonight information regarding the California local indicators. We'll wait for that to queue up. And if we can go to the next slide, please. Next slide, please. The topics for tonight's presentation will include the definition of local indicators and its connection to the LCAP, the performance standards, the state versus the local indicators, and lastly, we'll look at the Bassett Unified School District local indicators. Next slide. So the definition, what are the local indicators? So the state data is not available for some of the priority areas. We'll take a look at the slide, and not now, but in a minute, you'll see a slide that reminds us of what the 8 state priorities are. And so some data is not available for all of the priority areas. So for these priority areas, the state board approved local indicators, which are based on information that the local districts collect. The local indicators apply to all districts and not to individual school sites. Next slide, please. This information is connected to the LCAP. One more. Thank you. So this information is connected to the LCAP, the dashboard information, along with the local indicators. Local data is used to create the LCAP, and the LCAP has all of these separate pieces together, have one goal, and that's to improve student outcomes. Next slide. So there are performance standards for these local indicators, and each district must take these 3 steps. We must measure our annually measure our progress, report the results, which is what we're doing now, report the results as part of a non-consent item at a public school board meeting, and upload and publicly report the results through the dashboard. Next slide. These are the priorities, the required 8 state priorities, one of the slides that we used in the LCAP presentation. And you can see there on the left side, there are state indicators as well as local indicators. The next slide will show us in a little bit different format. So in this format, you can kind of see what the priorities are. on the first column. The middle column says which are state indicators, and the last column shows which are the local indicators. So what we'll be looking at tonight are basic services and conditions, implementation of state academic standards, parent and family engagement, a climate survey, as well as access to a broad course of study. Next slide. So our first priority area is priority 1 for teachers, materials, and facilities. And at this time, Bassett has 0 misassignments, 0 students without access to standards aligned material, and 0 instances where facilities did not meet the good repair standard. So a lot of this information here is with our Williams visits and with both for facilities as well as instructional materials. Next slide. So priority 2, implementation of state standards. The ratings are listed there from full implementation and sustainability, which is a 5, all the way down to a 2, which is beginning development. This indicator is measured in 3 different areas: materials, professional development, and aligned instruction. Those are the 3 column headings. So for each of the content standards, you can see on the left side, and those are our ratings. I would like to first point out that history, social science, the textbook adoption for history, social science will take place in 2022-23. And so those will be at a beginning development. Other than that, for materials and professional development, we're at a full implementation of sustainability or full implementation. I'm going to talk a little bit more in a minute about our professional development transferring over to site-based professional development. And we'll talk about increasing engagement as part of that process. Next slide. So the third priority area is parent and family engagement. Again, the same rating schedule. The rating scale is there, exploration and research, all the way to a 5, which is full implementation and sustainability. And in the bold area, it says building relationships between school, staff, and families. So again, this information is Bassett is at full implementation or full implementation and sustainability. And those are the different indicators that we responded to there. Next slide. Again, this is a parent and family engagement, and in bold, it's building partnerships for student outcomes. Again, there's a list of questions or statements, and then based on our parent surveys, our teacher surveys, parent community meetings, parent input, this is how those ratings came about. Next slide. And the last one under parent and family engagement, seeking input for decision making. This has to do with many of the meetings that we host and our outreach to our parents. I would like to point out there the one where there is a 3 under initial implementation. That one talked about providing opportunities for families and staff to work together to plan, design, implement, and evaluate family engagement activities at the school level. So we really feel that with our new structure of professional development being held at the school site with the theme of engagement, every climate at every school site is different. They know their climate best. They know how to work together between their site administrator and their ILT to address what it is, what are the barriers? What can we do to overcome those barriers to welcome our families, to have our students more meaningfully engaged? Next slide. Priority 6 is about school climate. And this is information that we took from the California Healthy Kids Survey. 606 students in grades 5, 7, 9, and 11 participated in this survey. The participants identified the following areas of strength. There are high expectations by adults in school, and there's the results there, the percentages responded by our students in those grade levels. This is an area that we really did have conversations with and have been having conversations with and was addressed even as part of our WASC recent WASC visit at the high school, and that's with meaningful participation. You can see there that is an area of improvement for our district, our sites. 20% strongly agree that they feel that they are meaningfully participating in class. So that is nowhere where we want to be. That is definitely an area that we will be improving upon. And as we have designed this structure with our principals, our site administrators, to transfer over the professional development. Professional development for a while now has been, for the first Wednesday of the month, has been hosted by the district. And we've been teaching and supporting professional learning communities practices. So those are fully implemented. We know what to focus on, data analysis, we know how to collaborate. We have all of the infrastructure set up. So now we need to go in and identify better ways to meaningfully engage our students and our families. So the first theme that we set about is for our professional development for the year next year is engagement of both our families as well as our students based on the data that we are receiving. Next slide. Let me add the other two themes that we identified with the principals is based on our data was engagement, strategies for our English learners, and strategies for our special ed students. And the last priority 7 is a broad course of study access to a broad course of study. There are 4 prompts that we need to address: tools and measures, access and enrollment, barriers, and ensuring access. So the tools and measures that are reviewed for this priority area are class schedules, graduation requirements, master schedules, access and enrollment. Some of the data that we found was 86% of 7th graders at Torch Middle School completed a world language course. Of those 86%, 75% of those students were English learners, and 21% of those students were SPED students. And the same way, 83% of our 8th grade students at Torch completed the world language course. 67% were English learners and 8% were SPED students. So what are some of our barriers? Barriers include access to elective courses and ELD for our English learners, access to the world language course for SPED students, and meeting credential requirements for our CTE engineering pathway. Those are some of the barriers that we've identified. And how will we address those barriers? How are we going to ensure access? So we definitely will be increasing our SPED participation in world language courses. We have and we'll continue to work with our principals on creating master schedules to include both ELD course and elective courses, as well as supporting our teachers with training and or credentialing for CTE engineering pathway. And that's priority 7. Next slide. Those are the local indicators and the information we had to present. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Dr. Kennard. Are there any questions?
I have a question. Dr. Kennard.
You're on.
On
You're not
the-
on.
Oh, is it on? Ah. There. On the school climate, I see on the participation, identifying the following areas of strength. The 7th graders are 79%. The 9th graders are 61%. And the 11th grade are 56. They don't feel they're supported or are held with high expectations by the adults.
So that would be the opposite. So in that statement, it was there are high expectations by adults in our school. So 79% of the students strongly agreed with that statement. So they are agreeing that there are high expectations in their school.
But as we get into high school, the expectations aren't as high.
Not
And the
as
same
high.
with the bottom. What are we going to, I know you're training and giving them professional development, but how is it that we're going to hold the teachers accountable to improve on these areas?
So definitely the one that is concerning there is the meaningful participation. And WASC also mentioned that as an area for improvement. And we have spoken with the principals. We have a plan in our theme, our engagement, our first theme for next year's professional development. This has to take place at the school site. What's happening in the classroom, how students are participating. We've talked with the principals about bringing back PBLs, making sure our students are engaged when they're walking through the classrooms. So having the principals and their ILT identify at the school site, what is the barrier? Why are the students not participating or not feeling like they're participating in the high numbers? That is a question that they're going to identify with their ILTs, bring that professional development to their particular sites, because the reason could be different at the high school than it is at one of our elementaries. So it's local based. What is it that we need to do to have increased numbers in meaningful participation? Now, our role will be to support that, making sure that there's time for and encouraged PBLs. Those are very, very engaging. And so we've had all the professional development in those areas. And now it's a matter of making sure that those are being implemented at the school sites.
Okay. But my question is, how are we going to hold the teachers accountable? Because you could give them the professional development. The principals could tell them and bring in professional development. But if it's not used in the classroom to improve this, what do we do? I mean, what's next? Because the teachers are the ones actually working with the students.
So I think as they work together to identify what those barriers are, part of the plan will need to be measuring progress. How are we going to measure progress? When are we going to implement these PBLs? What do you need to make sure that these PBLs are implemented and that we're having that student-teacher engagement? So making it very clear what we expect to see and then how we're going to measure that. That'll all be part of the plan that we work with the principals to make sure that it's being fully implemented.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Any more questions?
No, it's a good presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Kennard. That was a
Thank you.
very good, clear presentation.
Thank
Did you hear me? Okay, and there is one attached to the agenda online for public viewing. Next, we find ourselves at public comments. The Board of Education welcomes the input of the public in order to conduct district business in an orderly manner and for the privacy and safety of the speakers and to help staff respond more directly. The board policies require that the public presentations to the board comply with certain procedures, including speakers may address only items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. When addressing the board, speakers are requested to state their name, address the board to the board at the podium and adhere to the applicable time of 3 minutes. Total time allotted for public input on either agenda or non-agenda items is limited to 20 minutes. Complaints should follow the district's complaint procedure before the discussion with the board. BTA, CSEA. And we have Ms. Sullivan. Would Ms., I'm sorry? Thank you. So Ms. Sullivan is giving her minutes to Ms. Carbajal. She will retain the extra minutes afterwards should they be available. Ms. Carbajal.
No. Yeah.
Ok, no sé. Bueno, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Mireya Carvajal. En el último board meeting que tuvieron del mes pasado, hicieron unas preguntas sobre los programas suplementales, que estaban confundidos cómo estaban trabajando estos programas suplementales si estaban funcionando o no. Hicieron la doctora Kinari hizo una presentación estaban hablando sobre suplementales. Entonces, yo estuve en una presentación en el distrito, en la oficina del distrito, en un board meeting, donde vino una directora de Don Julián y habló sobre los suplementales, todos los suplementales que tenían y cómo estaban trabajando en esa escuela. Explicó que estaban trabajando con math y Lexia y que estaban incentivando a los niños para que hicieran más esos programas. Y los salones que agarraban más tiempo haciendo esos programas suplementales les daban, PTA les estaba comprando pizzas como incentivos. Estoy hablando yo estuve en ese board meeting. Entonces, cuando el mes pasado, en el último board meeting, cuando le preguntaron a ella cómo estaba funcionando, yo estuve ahí y a mí me quedó bien claro. Yo no tuve ninguna duda de cómo estaban trabajando y cómo estaba funcionando. Cuando les quisieron quitar un suplemental, los maestros pusieron el grito en el cielo. Ellos son los que siempre están pidiendo los suplementales. En los School Site Councils, ellos los piden. Nosotros hemos estado ahí, presentes donde ellos piden estos programas. Entonces, ellos son los que deben de venir a hacer una presentación, enseñar los números, cómo están funcionando los suplementales en sus salones, para que no tengan dudas y no le pregunten a alguien que no sabe, porque todo esto son los maestros, son los que promueven esto. Entonces, tenían bastantes suplementales. Una vez les hicieron una auditoría porque tenían bastantes suplementales. Entonces, cuando le preguntaron a la persona, se me hizo como una falta de respeto, porque las maestras que estaban aquí, ellas son las que fueron a dar una presentación. Ellas también estaban ese día y hasta les aplaudieron y les dijeron, oh, that was a good presentation. Thank you. Y yo no entiendo por qué alguien está confundido y no entienden si están trabajando sí o no, porque ya les han dado presentaciones. También me gustaría preguntarles sobre en la agenda el número 25 y el 26. No tengo dudas ahí. Me gustaría si pudieran explicar un poquito más, porque dice que van a hacer recording. Y si los niños los niños que no quieran, los papás que estén recording, entonces, ¿se van a beneficiar o no de este programa? ¿Y de qué programas están hablando? Porque tienen que record. Si van a venir a entrenarse con nuestros niños o qué van a hacer. No sé, nada más. Gracias.
How much time's left?
2 minutes.
Okay. Good evening, community. The question that Ms. Rivera asked is actually what I wrote down. The LCAP just sort of says that everybody needs to come together, but at the end of the day, teachers are protected with contracts and also their employees. So by state of California, they're also protected. So they have double protection. So they can say they're gonna do everything and the expectation is high, but it's gonna be pretty hard for the district or any district hold them accountable, because at the time administration or student services tries to do that, then it becomes micromanagement, it becomes harm, and it becomes bullying. And this is the game that's been played for about 30 years, give or take, that I can estimate. There's a reason why our children are not reading to grade level. It is time that the LCAP be married with the contracts that are given to the teachers. And I'm so shocked that they're not here saying thank you. That would be dignified for the district to come out with a 6% continuously and a 2% one-timer. This shows the character of the teachers. It really, really does. And it hurts the few, 10% probably that are awesome in this district, but it's also to their fault for not speaking. I wanted to also talk about the attorneys. I see so many law firms coming in. Dina, you said we were gonna save money. How the heck is that saving money? Trejo was one corporation. What did they do to stop the mayhem with the teachers? Zero. Nothing. How is that translating with money? Is this Amadeo Rodriguez telling you because he went in closed session and spoke against Trejo? He did. He should have the cojones to come here in front of community and say his piece instead of sending you to do his dirty work. I see things and I have to call them what they are, and I lose respect for board members when it's so obvious to me what's happening because they didn't help the process, not one. So apparently Trejo was not the problem. So let's look at the numbers and see how much are we losing. Thank you, community.
Thank you, community, for speaking.
Just want to wish everyone a safe 4th of July as we come around next week. The school year is ending. Summer school for the ESY program will end this week. And then the following week, we'll have the summer school for the high school ending. And so we wish all the students that are going to be going on vacation now to enjoy the rest of their time off. Once again, 4th of July. Everyone be safe out there, follow the rules and the laws regarding fireworks, if it's allowed or not allowed. Thank you.
Board member comments. Put your speaker on.
Just want to wish everyone a happy and safe 4th of July. This coming Monday.
Ms. Flores.
Okay, so I had an opportunity to attend the grand opening at La Puente Park. It was a great day. The park is very nice. During this time, I had some great conversation with city council officials and looking forward to continued conversations with them regarding joint venture projects that will bring more incentives to our kids and things like that. Also, Loxta, I attended the Loxta meeting on Monday. Yeah, Monday I came back. I attended the Loxta meeting on Monday where California State Treasurer Fiona Ma presented the Scholarshare 529. And this is something that has been, it's not new, but it's a great opportunity for parents to save money for college. Something, just an overview, a brief overview. It's like if you set up your account, you put $100 a month in there. By the time your child reaches the college age, they will have a good amount of money in there. And as we all know, a lot of college students, current college students, they just don't want to because student loan debt is very high. Gosh, I have my own student loan debt. But anyway, so with that said, she talked about that. Also, there was the Leadership Academy that Loxta put on. Both myself and a community member, Laura Santos, received the certification for the leadership program. I was not able to attend. It was in downtown and I had to work, but I did attend virtually. So that was really a great opportunity. Looking forward to more things with Loxta. They did their new announced a new representation of their executive board. So that's really good. And outside of that, happy 4th of July to everybody. Please have a safe and wonderful weekend.
To the Bassett community, I wish everybody a happy and safe 4th of July. We know that this is a time when some of our little fur buddies get kind of freaked out over the noises. So please take that into account when you're setting off your fireworks. Be safe. COVID's still out there. Wearing it for my own protection and for the respect of others. Just be safe out there. And we look forward to wonderful things happening in Bassett. I had a great conversation with Dr. Alvarez yesterday. And I must say, I came away feeling stronger and better about our community and the direction that he sees us going into. That combined with our new special ed director that I think comes with a vast array of background and knowledge. I see some of the things I've been wanting coming into fruition. And I just hope that it's for the best of the children of our district, because that's what it's all about. But remember, keep those kids safe during the 4th of July celebrations. Be safe, Bassett, and good night.
Okay, I'm sorry. Also Thursday, I'm very excited to announce if you drive by Temple and Puente, our marquee is being worked on. It's going up. It should be up and around by Thursday, if not latest Friday. So this is a project that's been long in, and I feel it's going to be really good as far as giving community communication and our programs and everything else that we have going on. So I'm very excited for that project to come to fruition.
That being said, we move on to the discussion. Number one, board attendance at conferences and trainings. The superintendent recommends that the Board of Education discuss and take action on a potential yearly budget. So that's what we're going to do now. Do we have a motion to open this discussion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Yes, second.
Thank you. Okay, would anybody like to discuss this?
So I'm going to bring this up because I felt we are moving in a positive direction fiscally. We still have some hurdles to overcome, but in the process, I feel we as a group need to all be on the same page. And one of the things is the conference attendance. When we last spoke about this, we came to somewhat of an agreement that board member, we would limit the amount of not limit the amount of conferences, but so put a cap on the amount of conferences that we would do as far as dollar wise. And of course, should a board member not choose to utilize their full budget, then another board member could possibly use it if needed. But we're trying to be fiscally responsible and make sure that we are making proper use of our taxpayer dollars with this. So I believe, I think currently, Dr. Alvarez, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's 40 right now for the board.
Correct. The current budget amount for board travel and conference is $40,000.
Sure. So with 5 board members, that would be about 8 per board member. And which I think that could be about 3-4 conferences, which I feel are very, it's 1 per quarter, I think would be fair. But I open it up to you.
I don't know, are we using the whole 40,000 on conferences a year?
No, I don't think we've ever used that much, have we?
It's hard to gauge because we have been under
Pandemic.
COVID, and I think the board at one point in time made an effort not to go to any conferences as the district was trying to address their finances. But the 40,000 is based on kind of historically what's been there before.
Mhm.
Now, how much has been used? I don't have that data available with me right now.
I would like to propose also, I don't know if this could be included in the language, but that the conferences be deliberately focused on the students. I know years ago, there was a conference that was attended by at least one, if not more, members of the board or of the Bassett community leadership that had nothing to do with education. And I'd like to see it not only focused on education or something having to do with the district itself, and then be reported out. I know when Santha was here, she held us to a very tight rein. You have to take notes, you have to show notes. And kept us on our toes because we had to think about what we saw and we had to bring it back to the board. And I think this board has done that. When we went to Cache last year, we went to San Diego, but I'd like to continue that as well to make sure that these are appropriate expenditures and meaningful for our district. Because if it's not meaningful for our district, why go? Why use the district money on that? So I'm all in favor.
I don't know, I think we should wait for all 5 of us to be here.
I agree. I absolutely
I
agree.
mean, it's only 3 of us making the decisions for
Yes,
the others, and
yes. So can we do we have to motion to continue it?
As a board, you can continue the conversation. No action is needed. It's just a matter of which the board wanted to take action. If there's a motion to continue the conversation and bring it forward to the next meeting, I can just do that as well. Or if there's a motion to, what's the recommendation as well?
what was it?
I would agree with board members Rivera that let's bring this back when all 5 are present.
That would be only fair to have everybody in the conversation. Good. Okay, moving on to number 2, the local control and accountability plan. Did you want to read that? Our superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the local control and accountability plan. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Ms. Rivera, motions. Do I have a
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's aye as well, so 3-0. Motion passes. Number 3, adopt the 22-23 district budget. The superintendent recommends that the Board of Education approve and adopt the 22-23 budget for the Bassett Unified School District. We have a motion to approve.
A motion.
Second.
Ms. Flores first and Dolores second. Okay. All in favor? I mean, okay, Ms.
Aye.
Flores and I. Okay, 3-0, motion passes. Number 11, consent calendar. All the matters listed under the consent calendar are considered by the board to be items that will be enacted by the board in one motion. There will be no discussion on these items prior to the time the board votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items to be discussed or removed from the consent calendar. Do I hear a motion to accept all
I move.
or?
So move to accept all the consent calendar as is.
Do we have a second to accept all of the consent calendar? Or did you want to pull anything?
I second.
Motion made by Ms. Rivera, seconded by Ms. Flores. Ms. Rivera vote
Aye.
Aye.
and aye. Motion passes 3-0. Consent calendar items are all approved. Number 13, adjournment. The next regular board meeting will be July 26, 2022. Do we have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
So moved. One second. I'll
Yeah.
second.
Ms. Flores first, Ms. Rivera second. Thank you. Good night, all of Bassett. This meeting is adjourned.